are live. We're just about back to the shop. I got a little delayed in Walmart. We're going to talk about a lot of questions that came in today about the Grand Design RV frame warranty. We got a ton of questions through Instagram. I posted the video on TikTok. I posted the video in a lot of areas, and not only did I get emails, but I got direct messages, some text through WhatsApp, Messenger. People are still really confused about this Grand Design RV frame warranty. So how's everybody doing? Welcome. Also, I want to thank everybody that already has donated to the channel, either by buying merchandise. A lot of you I know have bought shirts, hats, sweaters, coffee mugs, totes. I'm really appreciative of it. Every little bit helps. We've had a few people donate to the GoFundMe. I really am appreciative of that. Thank you so much. It really is going to help me get the equipment back. So for those of you that don't know, my laptop took a crap, and then all three of my microphones took a crap, and my extra 2 cameras took a crap. So about $15,000-$20,000 worth of stuff pretty much took a crap on me. And it is what it is. You know, it's not, stuff happens, right? I mean, stuff happens. It's the way it is. Okay. So we're going to head back in the trailer. We're going to do this. And I did link the merchandise store and the GoFundMe in the description box if you guys would like to participate, if you haven't already. Okay. The first question I know that has come up on everybody's mind, and it's something that I believe is on everyone's mind, is what is it about the 20 days? So I did a video on this, obviously, and in the video, I mentioned to everybody that the Grand Design reads that you're supposed to catch any kind of problem within the frame, within 20 days. Basically, you're supposed to make sure that you acknowledge any of it being a problem. Okay, we're gonna set you guys down right here. So, oh no, you know what? This is better. Bam. Okay, so that being said, it doesn't mean you have to go and take it to a service center every, let's say, 20 days to have it evaluated, but you have to have it checked every 20 days. You want to, like, do your measurements. So the measurements around the pin, the measurements of the flex of the frame, those are the things you have to check every 20 days and get it caught. If you feel like those measurements are outside of the parameter of what the frame is supposed to flex, you have to immediately report it. You can't sit on it, as they say. You can't sit and just wait. Oh, well, I'm on a trip for 2 months, so I'll do it when I get back. No, they'll automatically cancel the warranty doing that. And that's how it all reads. You know, that's how the entire thing reads, okay? So now I'm kind of set up. Again, I'm sorry, I'm in running. We got our trusty little backup laptop that doesn't do nothing. Doesn't do any editing or anything like that. It's just for internet purposes only. And let's get to this other question. Okay, dear HB, we have a really interesting question that Grand Design RV has yet to get back to us. We wanted to see if you could give us an interpretation since they have not gotten back to us yet. If we are in a car accident where it is a fender bender on our end, we rear end a car in front of us, small fender bender in the parking lot while we are attached to the fifth wheel. We're talking about an impact of less than 3 to 5 miles per hour. Do you believe that the warranty will be voided? Yes. The warranty will get voided because specifically with any frame, and it doesn't matter if it's a travel trailer or a toy hauler or a car or any of that stuff, your frame of any vehicle of any kind, when it has an impact, it automatically compromises the structural integrity of that frame. Okay, now when you get into like trucks and automobiles, a lot of them you can upgrade the front and back protector of it, but you're talking about a fifth wheel, you're in a pin box. Okay, so when that pin box, if you collide with something with your truck at any mile per hour, it's going to shift it. So that's where you don't have to worry about the warranty. That's where you have to report it to your insurance company. Okay, here's the biggest thing. This is something I didn't cover in the video I need to cover here. Okay, and I'm going to cover it in a video later, maybe in a short. When you're in an accident, you report it to your insurance company whether the person you got in an accident with wants you to or not. Especially if you're towing a travel trailer, a toy hauler, a fifth wheel of any kind, an agriculture trailer, doesn't matter. Because any impact or any movement can compromise that trailer frame. And it is covered under, you don't have to worry about contacting Forest River. You don't have to worry about contacting any of these guys. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna have to do this in the office. The internet's garbage. Hold on, we're going back in the office. Hold on, I'm moving to the office, guys. Hold on. Bear with me. So yes, insurance will cover accidents. So don't worry about high impacts if it's something happens to you. If a tree falls on your coach, report it to your insurance company. Put in a claim. If the dealership you're having it repaired at impacts your trailer or your fifth wheel and you find out about it, report it to your insurance company. Okay, that's their job. That's why you have insurance. You have insurance for the sole purpose of protecting yourself. Same reason why I tell people to get an extended warranty, right? You're protecting yourself. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do this in here. Better internet. And I can access my email from my desktop. Okay. All right. So hopefully that answered your question. Okay. Next email. Okay, log on, in, and bam. Okay. Dear Honey Badger, my wife and I watched your Grand Design frame warranty video. It was a better explanation than anybody else has given us on the internet. However, how can they determine whether a fifth wheel or a travel trailer has been in extreme weather? Is it they're looking for rust? What are signs that can point to it? Well, rust is one factor, okay? Salt, discoloration of the powder coating if it has been powder coated or repowder coated. Mold is one of the big ways to tell whether there's been an environmental issue. You know, if you live closer to the California coast or the East Coast or anything like that, there's a lot of moisture in the air. My suggestion is, and still is, that if you want this frame warranty to be intact, you need to make sure you store your Grand Design product indoors. Okay, I went through build construction area. Oh, my insurance just asked me where my RV is stored. Could they get that information from the insurance? Yes, absolutely, JJ Drones, absolutely. I would photograph it. You know, if you're gonna store it indoors somewhere, let's say you get indoor storage, or you built yourself a barn, or you built yourself some kind of storage shed to put this thing in, absolutely take photographs of it. Take photographs, video, do whatever you need to do to show that it's indoor stored, so there's no way the outside elements could hurt it, right? Okay. There we go. Dear HB, we have run into two problems. Problem number one is our propane has not stopped leaking. They solved one problem to find another leak, to find another leak, to find another leak. We own a Jayco travel trailer, and unfortunately we did buy it used, so there is no warranty that came with it. And my husband doesn't believe in warranties or buying warranties online or through a dealership. The 5 repair centers we have taken it to have made a recommendation that we rip all the propane lines off and restart from scratch, so that way we could have brand new propane lines. It's gonna run us about $2,500. Do you think there is a cheaper or better way that we could go about this? Absolutely. Trade in your vehicle and get something newer or get something else. That's the cheaper route to go. It'll be on the dealer to find the problem, really, or to resolve the problem. Propane is expensive to replace stuff. You know, the lines itself, the labor of putting the piping in from the travel trailer, from your tanks to the coach, is relatively cheap and easy. It's getting it back into the appliances, especially if you have to route it to the furnace, route it to the refrigerator, stove, oven, etc. That's where the intensive labor comes in. So I think you're getting a deal at $2,500 to get brand new propane lines and brand new everything, especially if you or your husband are not very mechanically inclined to make that replacement or repair alone, okay? The other way to do it is, and this is one reason, this is one of these emails, the reason why I highly recommend you buy an extended warranty. I've been in this industry for too long. I've watched too many stories happen where somebody says that they bought a used unit and the slide out stopped working. In fact, you know, that brings up another subject. So there's a guy, I actually like this guy. I found him on YouTube. And the name of their channel is Our License to Travel. If you're seeing this afterward, after the live, I'll tag their channel in this live stream. I really like the guy. He's a little dry and a little quiet, but I like his subjects that he talks about. There's only 4 things I disagree with him on, okay? And that's just from me selling units that are 1970s trailers, 1960s trailers, all the way to brand new stuff. The 10-year rule that a lot of campgrounds have in the United States here is not because of looks. It's because there's a certain lifeline of electrical. And most people, not all people, but most people do not take care of their stuff properly. I'll give you an example. There's a 1989 Pace Aero motorhome that's was parked in a camping spot in a full-time RV or resort. It caught on fire, an electrical fire. I just did a quote on a 1979 Comfort fifth wheel. That's all oak cabinetry and all this beautiful stuff. No slide out, you know, very beautiful interior. Water damaged and waterlogged to death. there's a lot of complaints in the industry amongst the RV community that quality has gone down. Quality has been the same since I got in the industry. It has been the same in the 1990s. It was the same in the 1980s. It was the same in the 1970s. It was the same in the 1960s. The quality hasn't changed. The materials have changed, but it's still an earthquake on wheels. I have worked on them. I have taken in trades. I have torn them apart. The quality of the actual build is the same today as it was 40 years ago. The materials they use might be cheap. The cabinetry, absolutely right. I 100% agree. Cabinets in a 1988 Winnebago are going to be a lot better than cabinets today. I agree. But that's because they didn't have slide outs back then. They didn't have push outs and slides and generators and all the stuff that they have now. All the solar panels, all the big battery areas, all the inverters. Those stuff didn't exist in 1987, 1988 like it does now. Okay? So you could put heavier wood inside for cabinetry. But if you go rip apart the floor of a 1985 Winnebago Chieftain, it's the same floor material, same subfloor material, pretty much same insulation, same nails, same wood, same everything as it is today. The only difference is the gluing process has gotten a little bit better. Instead of it all going through an industrial roller, it now has, a lot of it is now vacuum bonded, or the air is sucked out during the gluing process to make it more even. You now have Asdel fiberglass in most of these products now, which don't have the wood backing to prevent delamination. So if anything, a lot of things got better, some things just got worse, but overall build quality, it's identical, unless you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on the coach. That's number one, I disagree with him. The number two reason, and the only other thing I disagree with him on, is this 10-year thing. The 10-year thing is to prevent fires and accidents. Now, I've seen campgrounds across the US that will take in a vintage travel trailer that's been redone and remodeled, re-electrified, re-everything. It is on a case-by-case basis, and I think he misunderstands that. The 10-year rule is a case-by-case. There's people who buy 1960s and 70s travel trailers, rip them apart, and put new stuff in. There's people who buy 1980s and 90s school buses and bring them, make them into their own personal motorhome. There's people that buy 1988, 89, and 90 Chevy Astrovans and turn them into Class B motorhomes. It's the look. It's a matter of if it's been taken care of. Those are the things that overall determine whether you're getting into a campground with an older unit. I went through a bridge construction area and the blacktop didn't meet the same height as a bridge, so the drop broke my camper frame. They removed the signs. I didn't know it was that day. Others also, my insurance bought it from me with the yeah, exactly. You gotta make sure if you're getting any accidents or any problems with your Grand Design fifth wheel, don't worry about the warranty. Report it to your insurance company at that point. Now, if it's manufacturer error, like we've been talking about, obviously then that's when you have to worry about the warranty. Okay. Whew. It's warm in here. By the way, real quick, if you came in midstream, I want to thank everybody that has made donations to the channel. I know that I stopped the podcast for the foreseeable future. Just some personal things, some things in my personal life have come up and my business life. I can't really go into like all the details, but I want to thank everybody that has donated to the channel, whether buying merchandise through the store, super chats, super thanks, or the folks that have already donated to the GoFundMe. All that stuff is in the description box below, linked if you'd like to help the channel out financially. Okay, next one. Dear HB, we are in the middle of a refinance on our house. We really didn't have a choice but to refinance our house to take out equity. It was something our, I guess, accountant said that they had to do. I can't even pronounce that word. It looks like we're going to go from a 3.5% interest rate to a 7% interest rate, but they told us that we need to spend some of the money that we're receiving. We've heard your paying cash video is a bad idea. If you were if you had $250,000 of equity that you're taking out in a loan, what would you do with it? We want to buy a fifth wheel and a truck and hit the road for a few months until the election is over. What would you do? Well, if I had good credit, I would take $40,000, that $250,000, and I'd set 20 aside for a down payment for a good truck, and I'd take 20 grand and put it down on a good fifth wheel. And then what I do is take the other $210,000 and put it down on a rental property. Or I'd put that money into a real estate fund, somebody that already owns apartment complexes or is going to go buy an apartment complex. So that way the money is deferred and put as a down payment and you're just paying yourself back through your mortgage. The problem about paying cash for depreciating assets, and again, this is a personal thing. This is not me giving you advice and saying you guys are terrible for paying cash. No. There are two things about paying cash that suck for any depreciating asset. That you're talking about cars, boats, motorcycles, etc. Number one is if it's financeable, the money you take from and put into a real estate fund is locked away for however long, 5, 10, 11, 12, 15 years, right? That fund is set aside, making you cash flow, okay? That money will grow while the fifth wheel and the truck are gonna shrink and depreciate. So if you went and wrote a $250,000 check for both a truck and a trailer in 10 years, what is that $250,000 worth? Half? If you sell it on your own, maybe. So if you put a good down payment, get a halfway decent interest rate, refinance it when rates go down, then the bank owns the note on the asset that loses value, while you own something that gains value interest-free. See what I mean? So that's the way I was taught about things. I was taught from a very, very young age that you pay cash for stuff that makes you money and you take loans out on things that lose money. Make sense? So hopefully that helps you out a little bit. I mean, I'm not an expert, but that's what I really do. Does a campground have a way to know if you have an 8 to 10-year-old model, if you show up and they take the loss if you misrepresent? Generally, you have to make the reservation online. If you just show up, they're gonna go in. It's very easy to look at a coach and tell you it's 10 years old, okay? The design of them, the body, just like a lot of people can tell when a truck is older or how old a truck or a car is depending on the body style, because body styles change every 3 to 5 years, right? So with a travel trailer or a fifth wheel, if you walk into it, most people are gonna know what year it was. Now again, it's a case-by-case basis. I've watched people recently with a 1968 Airstream travel trailer get into every campground they wanted to, and I've seen a guy with a 1981 Fleetwood Pace Arrow, just Pace Arrow, it wasn't Fleetwood yet, with a Pace Arrow, and was told go home. Online, he told them it was a 2009, it was a 1981, and they turned his butt right around. So yeah, they're taking it seriously. But if your coach is painted and looks really good and all the electrical's updated and it's well maintained, they'll let you in. But we're talking about like you are renovating the motorhome or you're renovating the travel trailer. You're not just buying it because it's cheap and you assume it's better quality because it's older. I've just watched too many of these older travel trailers and fifth wheels fall apart on people. My brother has a 1997 Alfa Sia fifth wheel. It is falling apart. My brother is restoring it. I mean, it is like literally, it was considered one of the better built fifth wheels. There's a neighbor down here in Southern Nevada, down here at the RV park. He has a 1995 Carriage, which was like top of the line back in the mid 90s. Very, very nice coach, very well built, falling apart on him. And he's a guy that actually is an RV technician and he takes care of his stuff and it's still falling apart because again, they have a shelf life. You know, if you take good care of your stuff, it can last you 20, 30 years. If you abuse the crap out of it, it doesn't matter if it's a car or a boat, it doesn't matter what it is, it's gonna fall apart on you. And that's the downside to buying older used stuff. Yes, older used stuff has a mental picture of being better because of the materials used, but the build is still the same. Okay, all right. Next. I know someone with a 22-year-old Prevost bus, excellent shape and not allowed in certain parks. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Dear Honey Badger, we are being told by several dealerships here in the southeastern United States that it is normal for a dealership to charge both a get-ready fee, a shipping charge, a documentation fee of $450 to $500, and that if we do not finance with them, that they will not take a deal from us. Now, this is not just one dealership. This is now 6 people we've talked to in 3 different states. Can you tell us what your opinion of this is? Well, first off, there's 3 ways for a dealership to do business, okay? The first way, which is the most common way of doing business as a dealership, is you drop a price to be absolutely ridiculous where no one in the country can match that price, and then you add fees on top of it. And you're negotiating the fees as your profit. Okay, so if you go to a lot of states on the East Coast, I've talked to a few dealers on the East Coast now. All of them pretty much are in the same cheat. Like when they charge you a dock fee, that's kind of normal. A get ready or a prep or a PDI fee, everyone charges it. It's just a matter of whether it's already built in the price or not. There are guys that are a lot higher priced, but they don't charge you a prep fee. Then there's people that are lower priced and they charge their prep fee separate. That's a philosophy thing. That's a marketing thing, okay? So reality is what they're trying to do is instead of you negotiating a price, they're negotiating their fees, okay? So pretty much, no matter what you buy right now, whether it's a 23 or a 24, you're gonna get a good deal, okay? But it's just a matter of understanding that you have to find out what their philosophy is. And that's just through a conversation, right? Like getting a breakdown of what they're charging you. Do I think they should charge you for shipping? Probably not. Do I think that they should charge you for prep? Absolutely. Everybody charges prep. And here's the biggest reason why. When you go to buy a car, let's say you go buy a GMC truck, GMC Sierra 2500, okay? That GMC, General Motors, pays the dealership to get the car ready. Gasoline, check the oil, check all the systems. The technician and the service department at the dealership get paid to do that. Okay, so if they do that to 200 cars, they're getting paid like $350 to get it ready because the car already has a battery and etc. When these things get shipped from the factory, doesn't matter if it's Oregon, doesn't matter if it's Forest River, Keystone, Grand Design, Alliance, Winnebago, doesn't matter who it is. Most of the units do not come with batteries and do not come with propane, and the manufacturer does not pay the dealership to get it ready. Okay, so when they charge you a fee, it's to pay the technician, pay for the parts, pay for the time of the service writer, and pay the time to be able to register the unit. Things the car industry pays for, but the RV industry doesn't. Okay. And then documentation fee, that's all like internal stuff. Every dealer I've ever worked for charges a doc fee. Now, $500, never seen that because I'm on the West Coast. Generally in California, the most you can charge is $85. Here in Nevada, I think we charge $150. It's just the money that we use to FedEx all the paperwork and do all that stuff. So hopefully that helped answer your question. Okay. Dear Honey Badger, we have found out that buying a used travel trailer in this market is not a good idea. We are starting to look at stuff that is new, but obviously we want to stay away from a few brands, including Grand Design, and we want to also stay away from any of these smaller places like Tab, and I don't even know how to pronounce that one. Do you think the smaller manufacturers are going to go out of business by the end of this year? Listening to Josh the RV nerd the other day, it seems like everybody but Thor and Forest River are going under. Is this true? Well, Josh and I may not see eye to eye with things anymore like we probably used to. And that's again because Josh works for a corporation and they're a corporate RV dealership. But what I will say is more than likely Josh didn't say that. I will say more than likely Josh was just letting everybody know another small manufacturer went out. Small manufacturers will make it out of this economic mess. Genesis Supreme RV, which mainly does toy haulers for basically the central US to West Coast, they'll survive, no problem. You got to think that Northwood Manufacturing and Outdoors RV are going to survive this economic mess. You got to think that anything built on a Prevost is going to survive. So I believe that the majority of well-run smaller organizations are going to survive this as long as they pump out a quality product. Intech RV will survive it. The ones that are not going to survive are more than likely niche type of deals, okay? I want you guys to imagine this. So I had this conversation with some Forest River guys, okay? I felt their beast mode package is a complete waste of money, okay? Their off-road suspension, Kurt suspension crap, it's really cool for about 2% of campers. 2%, okay? So do you want to target the 2% or do you want to target the 80%? That's what I usually tell people that are trying to make some kind of weird change in the industry. And the reason why I say that is the off-road industry is so oversaturated. You got Opus from Australia. You've got Newton from Northern Indiana. You have, oh God, what's the one with Jason Momoa? All these smaller off-road driven niche type of manufacturers, they will go out of business before some of these other more traditional campers go out. You know, like the Living Vehicle, they'll survive. They're in Santa Barbara, California. They got the kid that pretty much designs and runs everything is a genius. He'll keep it afloat. I just really truly believe that we got to get to a point where everybody understands that dealership profits are at its worst. I mean, they're still making a little bit of money, but almost every single dealership is losing money daily. And if anybody says otherwise, they're either lying to themselves or they're just very lucky. Okay? This is the best buyer's market for the last 18 months. Has been the best buyer's market in the industry since the Great Recession. How long it will last, we don't know. Dealers are getting smarter about the inventory they're carrying and things of that nature. So just kind of have that in the thought in the back of your head. Okay. All right. I got time for one more. Uno más. And then I got some things I want to talk about. Okay. Okay. Dear Honey Badger, we actually were considering buying a Momentum fifth wheel from Grand Design used. After the letter came out, after we listened to RV Miles' explanation and Josh the RV Nerd's explanation of the actual Grand Design frame warranty, we were excited. But my husband decided to hold off just a little bit because we hadn't heard from you. We were looking for the trifecta. You might be a small channel, as you say, but a lot of people take your input to heart. Now that we've listened to your explanation and read the Grand Design warranty for ourselves, we can see that this may or may not be something we want to get into. We might want to go into something either brand new or into something with a different manufacturer, even if it's a smaller brand like Genesis that you mention a lot in your videos. Can you tell me what would you do if it was your money and your situation? Boy, you guys are really getting tough on me on these questions, man. These are getting harder and harder to answer. You know, if it were me, I'd buy a brand new unit no matter what, okay? I'm not a big used RV guy. I mean, I stay in them, I fix them, everything else. Used RVs are really good for people on a budget or, you know, are just money conscious. Let me give you an example, and then I'll answer your question. My best example would be this. If you know you're only gonna take 2 trips a year, I don't blame you for being kind of cheap, right? If you're gonna go out for 2 weekends an entire year and you wanna pay cash 5, 6, 7 grand for something, I don't blame you, not at all. Because, you know, if you get 5, 6 years of good use out of it, you're saving money. But if you're planning on doing some really good road trips, let's say that you have a nice, let's look at this. Like if I was gonna go to Yosemite, for like 3 weeks, I would wanna be either in a brand new coach or I'd wanna be in a lot newer used coach. I would not skimp and be cheap, okay? Even though I kind of am a cheap guy. You can ask my wife, she'll tell you I'm a cheap screwball anyway. That being said, you have to understand, I've read through Grand Design's warranty. I've read it to you guys. It reads like a manufacturer that realistically, if they're going to put themselves out there for a total of 5 years, they want to make sure you have skin in the game. Okay? Got it. So let me say one more thing to give one more piece of context. I also am one of those guys that I would go get everything Grand Design says to do on that warranty, maintenance-wise, and I would pay to have an RO in my hand, a repair order. I would want that piece of paper, that RO in my hand, that repair order, saying that it was visually checked. Okay, no matter what the warranty was. And here, let me go back one more time. Hi, it's me. Let me go one more step backward. Hyundai has all kinds of exclusions in their powertrain warranty. Okay, Hyundai and Kia. My SUV, my old black Hyundai Santa Fe, it's what made me fall in love with Hyundai, was this situation. So I was religious about oil changes, brake inspection, coolant leaks, coolant flush. I have a maintenance schedule I keep on my car. I bought it used. Hyundai, at 107,000 miles, the motor blew. Because I had all the service records, Hyundai replaced my motor for free. Okay? Because I was religious and spent the money to maintain my car. And I had all the documentation. So if I'm going to go buy a Grand Design Momentum or Grand Design Solitude, and I've got this 5-year frame warranty, I want a maintenance schedule. And I would spend the money on the maintenance schedule. And then I would pay the money to have a third-party inspector go look at the unit and verify everything's good before I took possession of it, just in case something happened in transport, just in case something happened on the dealership lot that the guys aren't saying. It's just something you have to look at, right? If you're cheap, or like Theo says, you being tight or squeak when you walk, you're not going to want to buy a Grand Design product, because you're going to get pissed off about the warranty if something does go wrong on this frame warranty, because they want you to go have this thing looked at. What reality is, see, I see both sides. I see the customer side. The customer side, everybody's telling me, oh, Grand Design's full of crap. This is the most BS thing ever. It's a thing full of exclusions. It's a thing pretty much they don't want to cover the warranty. Okay, I get that side. And the way the warranty reads, I would agree with you. But then you got to look at the factory side of things. People let little things go wrong with their vehicles and try to ride the wheels off. I did it when I was in my 20s. I rode a Toyota Tercel little car till the piston rod finally went through the frickin' block. That car, I just keep dumping oil in it every time it leaked oil. I wouldn't go fix the oil leak. Every time the belts would squeak, I would go spray lubricant, dry lubricant on it. Like, stop squeaking. I'm not going to replace the belt because I'm cheap. So you can't be cheap if you want to keep this 5-year warranty with Grand Design. You got to put money aside and put a maintenance schedule put together to make sure you keep the warranty intact. Okay? Because look, that's the only way that the factory knows you're taking care of your stuff. That's the only way Grand Design knows that you're taking care of your stuff. And let me also say that as pissed off as I am with Grand Design RV, and I'm mad about everything that they've done and everything they've put people through, the one thing I gotta say that they're doing that nobody else has done yet, but they will eventually, is make their warranties transferable to the next customer. So, you know, and they are fixing people's rigs. Now, there are some people have had their rigs fixed and it's going back to the factory to be refixed. There are people getting bought out every day out of a fifth wheel. At least there's some kind of progress. It may not be the progress we all want, but there is some progress going on. Okay. Jayco's a good product, Hector. I mean, it's Jayco. It depends on how much you want to spend, man. I mean, if you're going to go buy a Pinnacle, that's their top of the line fifth wheel. If you're going to be cheap and go tight or squeak, or you're going to squeak when you walk, however you want to put it, and you want to buy a J Flight, you're not going to be as happy as you will be in something more expensive like an Eagle. But then again, it depends on a lot of situations. Jayco is a good manufacturer. They're an excellent manufacturer. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. Are they absolutely on the best in the industry? Absolutely not. But are they a good manufacturer? Yes, they are. It pisses me off when these parks exclude an older unit. If you pay their rate, you pay like anyone else. Good grief. Lady J9, I only agree with you in the fact that if you refurbished and redesigned and redid your older unit, then you should be allowed. And a lot of these parks will allow you to walk in with your rig if it's been transformed from its old self into a new self. Kind of like a cocoon coming out into a butterfly. But if it's the old, I've watched, Lady J9, I've watched way too many older units go up in smoke. I've driven by too many motorhomes, travel trailers, and fifth wheels that are from the 1970s and 80s caught on fire out in the middle of the road. So, you know, electrical, plumbing, you know, all the dry rot. I mean, no. I understand why the parks don't want them. The parks don't want the liability of having a big, huge bonfire. I know everybody would love to see a motorhome go up in smoke. Not anybody get in trouble or have anything really bad happen, but yeah, 1975 motorhome catch on fire in the middle of the beach when everybody's out dancing. Of course, everybody's gonna, but you know, it's not really good overall. KZ Connect, KZ's okay. They're like entry level. KZ is a very entry level coach. Same with Gulfstream. They're on the same level. Gulfstream and KZ are on the same level. Okay, last couple points, and then I gotta get going. Point number one. I really want to thank all of you guys. I mean, there will be an opportunity one day for me to bring the podcast back. That's going to be my cue in a minute. There will be a point in time where I can bring the podcast back. It won't be today. The more you guys support this channel, not just financially. I mean, I know I'm asking for donations. People got a little mad at me over it. I get that part. But the other type of support, if you don't want to support financially, is watching the live stream, watching the videos, spreading the word about HBRV lifestyles, spreading the information, okay? If I can get to a certain point where it doesn't matter if I have a dealership job or not, then I can bring back the podcast. But for now, I really got to just kind of, some things have happened in my personal life where I have to just be really cautious right now. You know, and it's beneficial to my family. It really will affect my family if I'm not really cautious right now, just about having the podcast. As you can tell, I'm not afraid to talk about things on the live stream or talk about things on the normal channel, but we'll just say I got to kind of hold off on the podcast, okay? Don't forget to like and subscribe, or if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to the channel. Like videos when you see them so it spreads throughout the YouTube algorithm. That really helps the channel if you can't do other things. You know, continuing to send me questions online, continuing to send me information online, connecting with my Twitter and my Instagram and my Facebook and stuff like that. That all is very beneficial to this. Genesis is an excellent product, Nelson. Genesis is a very, very well-built product. It's not the prettiest thing. Not by far is it the prettiest thing, but it's a really well-built unit, and they build everything around the RZR Pro R, so that's really good. The other thing I really want to like express to folks is there are dealerships have to make a profit. The profit margin that a dealership has to make is bigger than you want to pay. Okay. And they're going to get you somewhere. You can lie to yourself. You can tell yourself whatever you want to hear. But when you go drive to the Midwest from California or Florida or Washington State or somewhere far from the factory, like for example, to have a fifth wheel transported from Indiana to Southern California or even here to Southern Nevada runs about $7,000. Okay. So if you don't think that the Midwest guys are not hammering you and making a bunch of money on you, yeah. So I understand wanting to drive to save the freight, but sit and actually do the math. How much are you really going to save? Hotels, gasoline, fuel, insurance. You haven't even seen the unit yet. Your time. How much is it really worth to you to stay and buy locally? Just saying. How much is it worth to you? Now, sometimes, here's the interesting thing. So I understand when people don't have the product. There's been times people have driven 5 states away from me to come get something because I had the product. Then nobody had it where they were at. That's understandable, okay? And it's understandable if a dealer in Seattle, Washington wants to charge you $75,000 for a trailer that's in California or Nevada or Arizona for $60,000. I get that, and they don't want to budge on their price. I get that part, okay? But I'm talking about like if the difference figure between what you're going to pay in your local state versus paying near the factory is just the cost to transport it out, you're not losing out on anything. You have a dealer that's going to hopefully take care of you, and you know, you get to bring it to your local dealer for maintenance. You know, Theo, there's a lot of people that got my back, and I appreciate that. I really do. There's been so much pouring of support. I got an email from a very, very popular YouTuber in the RV space. They were like completely shocked, and it was like a curveball. Apparently they've been watching my podcast for the last 2 years, and they're actually fans of this channel too, and watch this channel, and they reached out to me, and they were like, you know, very, very supportive. I had some of the investment groups that stay in contact with me. They were like, it was completely threw them for a loop, and I kind of explained a little bit of the situation. I couldn't explain it all, but I explained it a little bit, and they were really cool. They were the one, actually the investment group guys, the 3 investment group guys that I talked to off and on through the podcast actually were the ones who came up and told me I should start a GoFundMe for my equipment and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. And, you know, it's just been one of those things where it was tough. I mean, I had to sit down with myself and calm myself down before I did that video because I thought I would never have to do it. But, you know, I mean, just some radical things changed, and I gotta make it happen. I gotta keep my family together. So anyway, thank you guys for a great evening, and we'll see you next week. Next week we're gonna do go back to 7 p.m. I believe, as long as everything kind of stays kosher. All right, so until next time, you guys have a great night, and thank you so much.